just what I deserve. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb but first. But I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the
You'll still have common days. Get caught in traffic during your commute. Overthink a text message. Get a song stuck in your head. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the NECC. My name is Get the Bag Mark. I'm here with Vincent. And Vinny, we're all the way here up at Nationals, my friend. It's great to be here with you.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're kicking things off here today as we have gotten the privilege to get things started with Nationals for Counter-Strike 2. I got a peek into it with Valorant earlier on this week. That was back on Monday. It was a whole lot of fun, and we have an even better matchup coming at you here in MSU Crimson up against AWPE, which is befitting, to be honest with you, but AWPE Black. Both teams come into this where they dominated in the regular season, but a very different look that they had in playoffs. Very excited to get into those details.
Yeah, me too. It's cool to get West Point up in here. I've actually seen this New Mexico State team play like a Division One football game in my with my own eyes, Vincent. If I can spit that out, I saw them play against the Badgers like 5 years ago, like at the beginning of a regular season. So I'm excited to see what they've got, as they were 7-0, like in Group A out there. So I think that they're pretty highly touted where we're shooting from playoffs into nationals, as we're leaving that behind. We're leaving that behind as we rock up into nationals, like I'm saying.
Hey, don't be sleeping on West Point, because they were 7-0 as well, but that was over in Group C. But it was a deep run for New Mexico State University. They made it all the way to second place in the Division III playoffs, where for West Point struggled to make it through the quarterfinals. That was the opening round matchup that they played against Niner Esports. But yeah, I'm very excited to kind of see what this looks like. For me, the default position, I guess, is that New Mexico State probably the ones to be watching out for in this, no?
Yeah, I would say so. It's pretty interesting where we're rocking up here with Division Three teams. I think where you're escaping that label, towards the end of that season, we may have like lower expectations for you, just I think based off of that. But like, even to public opinion, and I think in College Counter, I'm looking at the rankings that we've updated and seen that like they've crawled up all the way to like within the top 60. They're 57.
Wow.
And I mean, West Point, for the very first time that they're rocking up into Counter-Strike, are in the top 90 at 83rd. So I would say for Division Three schools where you're putting out a pretty spotless resume in terms of the regular season, next to that, you have a lot of respect for where we're coming in here. This is about to be a crazy quarterfinal, if you ask me.
Yeah, and when you're talking about a bunch of wins that New Mexico State was able to pick up, that was a big deal. That's what helps boost those rankings. But if we can jump into the veto, talk about how this thing is set to get going, because to be honest with you, I mean, we don't necessarily have a ton of back knowledge on where these guys like to go, but we are going to be heading over to Anubis, courtesy of West Point, then New Mexico State, bringing us towards an overpass, or excuse me, flip those. But an Inferno decider. Feels like we are kind of jumping out of the general comfort zone that we see a lot in collegiate matchups. We typically see a lot of Mirage, a lot of Dust 2, Inferno. generally see a lot of. But Anubis Overpass, I'm not at all disappointed to see this. I'm excited to see what is going down here, especially as New Mexico State hoping to swing big, but they're going to have to do that. I was about to say on the T side, or the CT side, but it looks like West Point has elected to pick CT side over on Anubis. Oh, we're guessing. Never mind. That might not be right.
All good. All good. Because I'm rolling up here and I'm seeing this like overpass, and I'm going, this is an interesting pick out here for West Point when we're rolling through. They've only played, hey, if they're rocking up in on that, maybe they haven't shown enough on their overpass. They only played it like once during the regular season, and they seem to win at 13-2. So I gotta say, if they were, waiting to playoffs to play that in the next row, maybe they had picked a right time. If that's actually what does come up working in the veto, is we're working things out in the back end. But I mean, Vinny, were we like rocking into this? I know I wasn't with you for the week of playoffs. I was sad too. I really was, but I don't know. We're seeing that all pop out. Like I know at the end it's Temple that's obviously winning that. I remember going through and seeing, where these teams are like ranked point wise, which teams came out in the championships that's forming into these nationals brackets is very, very interesting. So I mean, especially like where you're leveling a lot of this talent. I mean, seeing where Temple was ranked a little bit higher, compared to New Mexico, you're going to have a lot of interesting move ups going into the 2026 fall.
Dude, it's crazy. Speaking of move ups, I mean, New Mexico State, they were dealing with, move ups of their own. This has been a sort of a wild school year for them, where they come in, a new team in the fall, but then they win Division 4, and that moves them up here into Division 3, only for them to take second place, perfect in their group. Like, that's a massive story for them to get to that point, and now they're top seed. Like, that is a crazy totality of a school year to get towards. So hoping to kind of prove that this was, this second place isn't the end of things, of like a Cinderella run. Instead, it's the beginning of something even bigger, something even greater. I think that's a cool storyline to kind of lean back on. And when you're talking about for West Point, this is a team that didn't quite meet the expectations that they were hoping to in those playoffs. It was a quarterfinal exit, and they don't want to recreate that. They don't want that to be the legacy of this spring semester, because it could be if we see them lose here tonight.
Yeah, I feel like, when comparing that series of that quarterfinal, it's always daunting, like, where you're measuring it up here specifically, saying it could be the exact same scenario, and that's what gets you in the trap game where you're sort of like setting it out how it is. But I think where you ran into those playoffs and, got a like really good look out of minor esports out there. I mean, these were both super close games. Like, I'm looking at this Dust 2, that went into double overtime. The Ancient was a 13-10. This was a team that didn't exactly sit down in the playoffs. It looks like they played a good game, but not good enough. So I think where you're not having to answer the questions of, maybe getting rolled over in that first match and then having to prove something here, I think it's just taking one more step up the chart and seeing if they can actually move through to a semifinal. Different beast tonight. That's obviously a factor.
Factor 100%. Unfortunately, I think maybe some technical difficulties also being a factor right now. Things are looking a little bit weird. We're going to shift this thing off to a break and see if we can get things figured out. As when we return, we'll hopefully be jumping right on into this matchup. Thank you for your patience. We'll be back as soon as possible.
1974. I think I'm going insane. I'm feeling crazy. Can't get it out of my head. Oh no, if the devil inside takes hold, then I just might wind up dead. Wasted, face it. You're never gonna be the one. Rockstar, you won't get far, but at least you had fun. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, a king or a queen, as long as you got a dream. Oh no, it's a lie. They just wanna take your life, try to tell you it's a battlefield. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, wanna go to outer space, superhero in the streets. Oh man, what a lie, what a time to be alive. How have I survived? Life's a battlefield. 1974.
We're back. We're back. Don't you worry. We got some Nationals action, and I believe we're staying on the same game. We were worried there for a second. I even have the correct background. We're all back on this broadcast, Vinny. It's great. And we really do have the veto as well. I thought I was getting a little bit of doubt on my mind about this overpass, but boy, I'm happy that I think West Point are bringing it here because, Vinny, they probably should be worried about this Anubis, being that in my view of how they have played their 7-0 regular season, they haven't ran into it one time.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah. And considering the point you were making about the overpass, that we've only really seen it a couple of times, or maybe it was just the one time. So definitely some question marks, not in necessarily like a bad way, but ones where, you know, there's a lot to prove right now for this West Point team, as they will be starting out on the C2 side.
As have...
Nope, you didn't guess right. I think we got it.
Oh boy. All good.
Wait, no, I've lied. I've lied for fun.
No,
that's
we're good.
My bad. Yeah, it's... I'm
trolling. We're here. It's for real. Don't worry. We'll get it out at the beginning like we did with the server. Vincent, we're back. Nationals, a different set of playoffs, and that's
Nice.
where you look to get a little bit of redemption. Jeebus around that corner, catching one shot. He's gonna walk back. This is awkward coming through camera. But finish up top, he's gonna be washed away.
Nice couple of kills to at least get them back. Wahoo does a great job of staying alive. It's put NMSU into a 2-on-2. Bomb down, and Molly providing space. Jeebus, that is not the moment to take that step. K-Day alone.
Yeah, and trying to tap back up to the top is just not going to work. The Captain Monk pops one back to A main. West Point pop on the bomb, Vinny, and they're up 1-0. Breaking into this Anubis they got no history on.
Yeah, it's interesting to me to start CT side. Now, I haven't looked at like the actual pro stats in a minute, but definitely the CT side's better than it was. Not so much that I would suggest starting CT side ever. So I think that's an interesting decision from West Point. The fact that they make that call, obviously it's a huge asset to win. Dude, what an insane producer moment from Time to Light. Just giving me the stat in my ear. It was incredible. 45% win rate on the CT side. So yeah, it's exactly what I was saying. You know, it's better, but not crazy better.
I might like understand it from the mentality of like, say, you would rather add up the defense before you get a chance on the offense because you don't know what you're gonna run. I mean, you have the bones likely of a default. Your players have hugging experience as another kill comes through there in the Tech 9. But I don't know. I think I understand it like that. I think you're just going to be able to kind of like shoot and not worry about the rest till the second half where, I mean, we've seen it. Like you could go up 9-3 in this map, even on a CT side, go to that T side and actually kind of just lose the whole bit and vice versa. More so on the vice versa end, seeing how T-sided this Anubis is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's always those possibilities, but just an interesting moment of psychology. Regardless, West Point take advantage of that pistol, followed up with a victory. I'll lose a couple on the back end of that, but an off-purchased ASAP for Wahoo means that they will the big green as early as possible for round 3. Only a scout on the other side for Jeebus, and won't have much of a chance to shoot it.
Staring down this line, able to get J-Day out of middle, but Widowy, we're gonna figure out how to say this name along the way, because it Widowy or is it JJA? We're supposed to be focused.
It's
on
Widowy JJA, bro.
Widowy is him.
You log in.
Hard to roll off the tongue. JJ got that frag, he faded away from middle. Bro's got the bomb in his back and is waiting for Tricky to get this one kill in the mud and lock off camera. This is going to be really hard to retake for West Point.
Tricky Vic. I feel like... Oh, that's a lovely decision. Widowy JJA. Getting that smoke redeployed. Now, unfortunately, Pigeon Pie going to be in a little bit of a weird spot. Puts on the pressure, but that is a lot of time bought off this clock. And a big frag from Tricky Vic means that it is now all up to Monk.
Yeah, and kind of in a retakeable spot to reconsider. We just saw the shoulder up for Tricky, but JJA swings to finish the job. That A hit successful. New Mexico got to be happy with that.
Yeah, quite happy indeed, especially when, you know, Widowy JJA is lurking out A in such a difficult spot. There's a tight timing that he's able to find to get the kill onto the A player, drop the smoke, and like I said, the rotation to come back in to re-smoke camera allows Pigeon to catch the timing in middle. Really important kill that is. Sort of a weird buy with 2 guns purchased and 2 half saves. I don't really know what West Point's thought process here is, but not really ideal in my mind.
Maybe this Deagle can stand the test. It'll have to. Timo also going to be taking out Jeebus through Canals, but I think may have just turned his back at the wrong time. Pigeon One frag into B main. Now the entire site exposed. And K-Day is going to meet them back down through E-Box to try and take West Point's other site.
Yeah, Tmozos does a valiant effort there on B, but there is nothing he can do with the onslaught of Mexico State members. Yeah, I guess gives me a moment to go back to that buying decision that I was talking about. Gonna leave Bane Wahoo finished with like a little bit of cash, but I mean, even that's really not enough realistically. And it's definitely putting them in a weird spot. New Mexico State, on the other hand, will be happy because this likely will buy them a little bit more time. Some easier rounds, though thankfully Wahoo saving an AK is a pretty big deal.
Gonna lose that right by finished on his Deagle. Happy to see him here. He was the man that was dealing with a little bit of technical issue before we got into play. Clearly not affecting him or Wah. Starting out this type of pace, looking good, but I mean, Crimson was going to answer that at any point. Awkward buy that you got from that, at least a couple of guns. Yeah, I don't know if I clarified this before. Obviously, we're talking about New Mexico picking up into this Anubis because West Point have not seen it at all, but it's the same mentality that Overpass has also not been seen by New Mexico. So this is a very, very spicy veto that we've just accompanied ourselves with. And you're talking about heading away from the normalcy. Well, you got that Inferno up third in case you need it, Vinny.
Considering two playoff teams, it's crazy to see we're playing two maps that neither team, at least the opposition, has really seen. That seems crazy in and of itself. Vic for another fight. This one's gonna go wide. The spray. Fortunately, the A site under threat. Bomb is towards B. There's concern there, but well, they just keep getting kills on A, so no big deal.
I mean, Wah might be feeling confident here. Sneaking back in. I mean, the bomb is going to be pretty delayed. K-Day at 3 HP. I mean, going to be wiped away while holding this round together. But at this point, he is ready to tap out, considering the 12 health, but maybe giving up on the correct bomb site here. Monk walking away from Temple is going to be the only rotate as he considers middle. The rest of New Mexico get in without any sort of consideration. Monk holding on to things, and by the time he gets in, Jeebus holding that angle. Might be able to slip the timing. Low HP onto Pigeon, but Jeebus going to pull away with the AWP at the end and also pull up with the New Mexico lead.
It's impressive, and it's exactly what New Mexico wanted to see. Get themselves a massive victory, and of course the lead that you're highlighting. I didn't really pay attention to the buy, because I just assumed it was going to be a full save. They must have forced around those two AKs. That is, unfortunately, not enough money to buy, and West Point, they've got their shovels out, because they just keep on digging deeper and deeper, trying to find ways to win. This economic mismanagement is really putting a bunch of problems in their camp.
On the lurk this time. This A site is just what they've loved. I mean, I know they just went to B 2 seconds ago, but this is it. This is where their entries have came at a premium access. Finished with one on the Deagle. Maybe you can expect a little bit more if everybody is gonna forget about Timo. Nobody's currently watching camera, but they fight and finished, and Timo is still smoked off. Timosis. I feel like I'm back casting my favorite Uruguayan player, Vincent.
Yeah, I know. You've got that, like, you see this, and you've got it in the back of your mind. Moses been cut out of this round. There's really nothing he could have done. The B player, the dedicated one. Access through middle. As you correctly highlighted, New Mexico State have been very good at putting pressure on middle. Constant. Time to shine, though, maybe in the exit. Moses is gonna get a shot. There you go. Just barely grabbed it. That's a big save. Massive advantage now holding an AK onto the CT side. But New Mexico State, because of all of these ups and downs and the weird buying habits, West Point have allowed New Mexico State not just a lead, but a big one.
Yeah, and I think we know just from our experience, speaking anecdotally, that we know that these things can really snowball pretty fast on Anubis when you're kind of getting out of a plan on that CT side and kind of just going and flying by the seat of your economical pants. I mean, that's not going to work when these AKs are just going to be coming by the dozen. This thing is going to be very difficult. It's already you're up to 4 rounds, and it doesn't feel like they're about to just fall off the cliff. K-Day gets that entry and access to middle of all places. Monk now would have to find a double kill, and does, finally.
Monk's been fantastic, does so again. 8 kills. Vayne, this is a swing that isn't necessary. Doesn't need to take this fight. Won't do so now. Split. Been heard, but a great fight.
Yeah, able to escape though. That's another option. Still walking up the mountain of a 2 versus 4, and I think giving him the chances there, he was just couldn't hit that second shot. Now it's all into Pigeon, who does throw their life at Monk, who's ready for anything. Looking money for a 4K here, finding a third for West Point.
Well, it takes Monk picking up a triple kill. New Mexico State missing the trade frag on them in that moment. Allowed a lot of time to build economy, but because of the amount of late guns taken away, the rebuys required, New Mexico State haven't built up much of an economy. They've got 4 rifles here, but it's not ideal. Jeepus has an op, but no utility whatsoever. Nice nade. What are we gonna eat that?
This is about the most regular looking default that New Mexico have ran. Not even really fighting for much of it now, or EA's sights can be telegraphed. And the fact that T-Moses is getting 2 before they even are seen means that this D side may be just about to collapse. Pushed up middle, Monk hit the 4K. You know he's feeling himself, but finds one there. I think that's job well done. 4 versus 2.
Yeah, at least the bomb escapes, but you can see that Finish is still hanging out on the A-bomb site. Eyes on. I thought so for Vayne in E-box, and unfortunately that adjustment is going to make things complicated for West Point. They now don't know where this is heading. The bomb back towards B, and the remaining 2 members of West Point are split.
Flash through on the smoke. Timo not going to wait for anything. Moses goes down, denying the plant. 13 seconds. Leaving this bomb to even be picked up. Access to it, 6 seconds to get the security. Pigeon will attempt another clutch. This time on a perch of the site. Hits a really great headshot onto Finish via the spray. But West Point hop onto a 1v1 and come up with a 4th round on the defuse.
Granted, that started with a 5-on-3, so from what it was to what it could have been, definitely a big change up for New Mexico State, but the reality is that they are still economically in the bin. Oh, don't do it. Don't go for this buy. And that is the better decision. They'll sell. Well, full buy here. We'll save. West Point, this is back and forth. This is looking to me like it's going to be a long, drawn-out match, considering the ups and the downs we've already seen 8 rounds in.
Yeah, I think especially where you've already pulled this plug of maybe the T side just traditionally running away with an Anubis. I think we've sort of put a pin in that. There have been many alerts that came around this very corner, not by, well, I was about to say not by Jeebus, by Tricky Vic, but there they are right next door. gonna unfortunately see that same fate. An attempt at the opposite bomb site or a bomb plant. Out. K-Day 1 versus 5. I don't think a bomb plant is feasible here. 2 players around this corner and a third in T-spawn for a totality. Total of 9 rounds, and 5 of them have gone the way of West Point. This ain't a bad CT side so far.
Whoopsie. I was muted. Feels bad. I was going to make the point here and just leave it. The fact that they have 5 rounds and they had those, like, economic woes at the beginning of this half, or they like, force bought more than I think they should have. It's very impressive, to say the least. Super aggro here for West Point. They're taking into Canal. Might check into this. It's crazy that Fane's going to get away with that kill. Won't make his escape, though. We JJA on the refrag.
This might crawl in this corner at the correct time. Honestly, I feel like Monk was so much better for that fight. There's advantage, always way worse when you're closer to the wall. T-Moses gonna get pigeon on the lurk too. A lot of HP given over in this fight to Monk, so I'm not sure Jeebus is really going to be moving much further forward at this very point in time. Finish sees K-Day out of the side of their eye. And just going to go long range. The SMGs are taking it to him this round. That time by the T side. Bomb will go down. Wow needs to decide when T-Moses arrives whether to go for this or not.
I mean, it seems reasonable to go in, especially when you know the HP that we do, but they don't know that. No, 1 kit. Wahoo has 1.
Back 10 spraying about. T-Moses on to K-Day. 2 versus 2. And where you have Jeebus as the bait for this round. Got to move out of A main too late. It's a 6th up here for a CT side succeeding on an Anubis that they haven't played once in the regular season or playoffs before this.
West Point really putting together a phenomenal half of Counter-Strike now, and it's not just Monk, who was incredible early. Wahoo had some big impact rounds, but it's T-Moses now to really deliver. Loving that for West Point. That's a triple kill. New Mexico State calling attack pause. Making life very difficult for this West Point side. Or excuse me, for this New Mexico side. And getting down to the wire back into this half. New Mexico State force buying for Galil's on the majority. Back 10 for what do we JJA. See what West Point can bring. Oh, the op right there. Triple nade.
Oh, no!
I'm dead.
Signs of an experienced Anubis team finally showing up. They're just running it down the gut. You lost 1 along the way, but you took it 2, and now the entries just come really easily again. Finish has had such a tough game. Smokes down into camera. I feel like this round is done flat in less than 30 seconds. Fane, if you give up your life here, and same goes for you, T-Moses, I really feel like that's going to be a huge loss right now, but I don't know, Vincent, am I a crazy man for saying T-Moses on nearly 10K can, in some world, argue for them to attempt this? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit crazy, but I don't think it is insane. They'll go in, but they won't succeed. New Mexico State, it's the triple nade. Start that out onto Wahoo's face in-house. It is only 1 for Monk, and it is nothing for the rest of the team as New Mexico State run them over on the A-bomb site. A little bit of speed, a little pace behind them. Just the ticket for the victory. But at this point, I'm not saying too late or anything, but, you know, 6-6 is the best case scenario. That's what New Mexico State are targeting. West Point are already pretty happy with the map as it started. The half, rather. So gathered, finished, just going to, I'll drop a molly. They'll actually trade those. So it's a floor of fire entryway onto A. Gosh, Moses so close to being spotted. K-Day not seeing anything. He'll be the one to go down.
Action 3 box as well. This Og gonna get signed up for it 1-for-1 inside of Canals, but West Point still are on top of the trades. And they will go through the top. The point about that is shutting down momentum to actually accessing this B site. That's why you see actively every single player turning around, not realizing that Monk is already reaching in the files for a flank. Got one, and an idea as to where the end of this round is going to be popping up.
Finish never left, though. He's been on this A site from the rip, and now West Point, they split up their defenses. The trade there for Monk is fantastic, but only a 1-for-1. It's just Moses on the back of the B bomb site. Help is relatively far away, and it's via an op from Wahoo in mid.
Moses has to get one here. It's a hard headshot angle, but that's what he's decided to go for. 7-5 double spray down on a map that West Point have no business being this bold on. That is so good for them, Vincent. 5 of the last 7 rounds there, and a little bit fancy at the end there with the double spray. I did not expect that, at least. Really good look there from T. Moses. Reaching for 13 frags at the end of the first half.
Yeah, it's really felt to me like West Point has somebody to be their big hitter whenever they need it, right? It started out with Monk, and Monk continued doing that. Then Wahoo really took over. Then to Moses made that next step. It's been a level up from each of those individuals to now they hold a lead into the T side. That is a massive advantage. Just see if they can transfer that into a victory. 2 towards mid. It's just going to be solo for K-Day today.
Gotta hold this thing together. Frantically spraying with that USB. This is going to be really hard to pull a kill away from. It's K-Day that comes up with nothing. New Mexico on their CG side are already feeling the ground beneath them go away. They're just falling to all 4 frags and making it a 5th. This is such a clean pistol round. Are we sure West Point haven't been practicing this behind closed doors?
I'd imagine they have. I mean, that certainly feels like that's the case. New Mexico State posting up a couple of really impressive defaults that we saw, and a couple of faster plays that were really ambitious and that were very good. New Mexico State, they had nothing there. K-Day needed to get at least one, couldn't do so. And the reinforcements, though they arrived in time, they weren't enough.
This is really a concerning look for a New Mexico team that, I mean, across multiple collegiate tournaments during the regular season, I played this Anubis like 8 times, only losing it a total of 3. And I mean, usually these are really good outputs. Their most recent couple of outputting officials have been really clean. Seeing this barrel through the smoke. Dink over the top, Pigeon will be shut down after that, but maybe a little bit more possibility for a kill out of this pistol. Come on, get Jeebus around this corner. I don't think anybody's getting anything from this.
Nothing. Moses continues to level up as the time goes on. And, I mean, listen, let's talk long-term as we're about to get New Mexico State their first gun round, so it's an important one for them to find a victory on. But if West Point win on this map, we talked about Overpass already. It's a little bit of an unknown. West Point has more of a history, though limited it is, than New Mexico State. They picked it. They know what they were expecting. They intended to go there.
They going for a really big reach from Ruggs. Want an MP9, please. This is a desperate fight. New Mexico feeling that way. The way you send one type of precipice like that. Tricky, one kill, but there's another given over back through middle.
In West Point, oh, this is going to be an interesting path. They've smoked off camera instead, and they're looking to go path towards Temple side. Spacing ain't ideal, but they still get the kill. Needs to be a trade. Widowy does deliver that.
Pigeon 1 versus 2. Thing about this is you have to take full advantage of this being a clutchable scenario. Where you're sitting in the CT side, this has to be an attempt and a win. Respect for signing yourself up. So close, may not be prepared for this. The Pigeon goes down. And who was prepared for this type of result so far? A 5-round lead, and it's West Point getting double digits first on this Anubis. They have the T side to take this away. And then a taste of your own medicine of an overpass that they're playing with in the veto that New Mexico also haven't seen. This is all the makings of everything going right.
Looking good. And now on the T side, even better. New Mexico State getting stuck in to this with attack pause. They go for another purchase. That means MP9s, MP7s. It is a auto shotty. And it's not to say these weapons are incapable, because it's not true. They are, but it's difficult. And the limitations in the utility belt are also massive. New Mexico State, the risk they're taking here, Marky, is massive. Because if they lose right now, it's almost game over. At this point, we'll have a freebie. And that's if New Mexico State go for a save. Probably just be interested in forcing until the end.
That's more like it. I mean, it's an aggressive play to match the tone of your buy. You kind of have to do something like that. And now this shotgun is in a weird spot, spamming middle, spamming back. K-Day actually does manage to provide a little bit of help here to Canals. These AKs are going to rip apart from all places from these SMGs. Moses has to leave. He knows what's good for him. And I wouldn't want to walk into that shotgun. It's looking like this point might have to go B here.
I don't know if they have to. This mid control is becoming a big deal. Jeebus.
Ooh, no.
Well, that's funny.
Him. All good.
Tell me Jeebus doesn't even get an assist on that? Yeah. Okay.
Gave him a little bit of help there, but sure not for what he exactly wished. Maybe he's happy to be out of the kill feed. That account. Things have cooled down. New Mexico, they're at least pinned back. 3 towards B. That's big right here. If they just make the right decision, if West Point walk onto A right now, this could be in a completely different round. Jeebus audibly rotating. Knife out. Just going to be able to pull the AK in time. And now that the rotate is down, it's going to be all up to K-Day with a measly MP7. But playing this to perfection. Peeking out with a little bit of utility. You thought he may have had a chance to find one kill. Forgot about A main. Forgot about T Moses.
The fact that West Point have the post plant already, it's late, sure, but eyes on, perfect here to Moses. Not perfect enough. Time of the essence, 1 kit for Pigeons.
And JJ swings out everything through camera. New Mexico have a great retake. I mean, onto the bomb, Pigeon with that defuse. 6 that New Mexico find. When I was talking about that retake and the 1v2 that had to be attempted, it's the same sort of outcome that you were looking for here. Everything on the line for them to find it. And if they lost it, it was even more concerning where they were sitting economically. I know you pointed that out.
I'm a little bit blown away that retake goes so well for New Mexico State, I feel like West Point had the individuals in the right spot. Granted, I think they could have been positioned a little bit better, especially the player close camera. But in general, they had eyes on the right locations. It's just New Mexico State that won the duels. We're going to speed things up here for West Point. They keep it for an eco.
Oh, no.
They're sprinting at A.
Heyday seemed to be poised after the fright, was certainly surprised, but providing a pretty good defense. I mean, this is all too good for a West Point team that put a lot on this. 2K per player that they keep into the pockets. It's a leg sticking out. Now that this Eagle is able to reposition, Bane has gone down. Eagle up top is not going to be able to roll the die. It's 7 up here for New Mexico, but a big buy coming down the barrel for West Point.
Yeah, it's good stuff, though. I mean, West Point, 2 kills, bomb plant. That's really all you're looking to get out of that round, realistically. The bomb plant does mean a lot for them, considering their buy would have been okay, but not great without it. Now it's great. Few limitations, but not by much. And it feels like for the first time, New Mexico State can breathe. Maybe not a full sigh of relief, but, you know, let out some air. Feel a little bit of the pressure releasing.
Now maybe the time to get concerned a little bit for West Point, right? This is why they chose the CT side to begin with. Potentially feared their time when walking here. They have to just keep it simple. Walk with their stars. Make the 21-7 T Moses take fights, right? Make this thing as simple as it can be, because Anubis can get really hectic down the pipe trying to close these games. New Mexico, with a couple rounds behind them. Why not another?
Massive amount of utility being filtered through, but Widowy JJA just gets spammed down.
Box has a really good place to perch. 2 kills, and now Tricky trying to sneak through. Seen, but not removed. And now Finish gonna have to go in flick to Tricky. That first part done has almost made him unavailable to really take a clutch like this seriously. 14 HP, and he is going to be back to the wall, turn into E-Box and Temple, collapse onto him, and it's an 8th round here for New Mexico.
One step at a time, one foot in front of the other. That's how you have to build a comeback like this. 3 rounds straight, down 10-5. New Mexico State have started to bring this back. But they need more. This is just the first step. Can't be the end. This has to be the beginning. I'll tell you this. West Point, they've had individuals taking over at every point that they need it. And I think that if that continues, New Mexico State might still be in a little bit of trouble. This round, likely not where that trouble starts. Eagles and Techs. 2 flashes, 1 smoke grenade. That's the entirety of West Point's kit. Teams that clearly are looking to attack A. It's a he steps nade that falls a little bit short twice over.
Fighting through E-Box before they get there. Rather through canals, excuse me. It's interesting. I thought their last A-Rush was actually really good looking until, you know, you had the anchor shutting down everything that was coming through. Heyday this time pushing 2 frags on top of it. But ready for anything. That bomb float in the top of the water. You go ahead and identify it. You know it's down here as the last 2 Ts gonna walk into canals at their own terms.
Nice grenade. How about a smoke in your face? There is no getting away from this. It's a difficult scene.
Another one of those AKs gone down. I don't wonder why it took this long. Getting so close in this game. I know you were saying he would pop up this way, but honestly, Vincent, I was kind of doubting your opinion. I was going, seeing West Point play like this might just be the surprise of the playoffs. They're worried about slipping up just like they did in the previous playoffs. This is Nationals. I'll just go ahead and correct myself because, Vincent, whether or not quarterfinals may be concerning for West Point.
This is very impressive. The mental resiliency as well for New Mexico State just to keep on trekking. This comeback story. And on the CT side of Anubis as well. Another big frag. That's out of K-Day. He has been really turning up the heat on the CT side. Remember that pistol round? Remember the CT pistol round where he really struggled? It's since then that he has taken it personally. Opening duel out in A main. West Point isolated one. Main balls.
Speaking about on fly, I think attempting this boost here. Trying to edge out this middle control bit by bit. I mean, Jeebus is going to shoulder this in and out, but if 3 players decide to take this space, then all they'd have to do is show up. 2 kills, right down to it. And now K-Day, he actually smoked out here from the A site. The decision is to go B, and that makes sense because the bomb, it lies right outside here. No trade potential. It's going to be delayed, and that is their mistake. T-Moses now knows what's up. This is where they should have went to begin with. We just had all the info. K-Day going to be very hard to find out. Able to track this coming through the smoke, and a turn of tides. Here's New Mexico ties the game.
West Point, the spacing there is the biggest mistake. It's the problem. They are nowhere close enough to be realistically trading each other. Allows a moment, and that's all that's needed to get a reset on that spray in Temple. New Mexico State forcing West Point another tactical pause. And they keep bringing it back. Starting to get a little bit scared for West Point. You know, I talked about their individuals and how consistently they've had in someone step up when needed. For New Mexico, you know, we've talked about it a couple of times, but the lack of anyone doing the same on their side of things. Well, Widowee has been there the whole time, but K-Day's recovery has been massive.
Large presence out here that, I mean, West Point have not even shown anything close to. They could just go B right off the bat. Couple of stands up the top. Feels like in a posture like this, you're missing out on a lot of other process that you can put on the map just by not defaulting, by sort of putting all your cards into one spot. But I mean, they've given acknowledgement to middle. They don't necessarily need to do anything towards canals. They're bringing their 5 back. They could hit execute at any second.
Yeah, but will they? I mean, short answer is yes, eventually. No map control elsewhere. West Point do have to go. Flash is a little early. Smoke comes later.
Shoots through. One on this Galil. Pitch in to get the setback, and Monk in motion. They have everything on this site. And now the HP, it might be a factor, but the 2 versus 5, forget about it.
Dude, yeah, I mean, everybody is at least 50 HP or loves.
Spam, walking up the street for, in my opinion, no real reason. You got that money, might as well thin the herd a bit. It's what they're thinking. New Mexico got to come up with a really good buy back, but I think West Point are more just happy to get back up on the board, yeah?
Yeah, no doubt. But it is right when New Mexico State would have had themselves a lead. Their first one since 4-4. Back when West Point retied that scoreline in the first half. It's then that West Point activate, the West Point awaken.
boost going now. 2 players in middle. I'm going to catch one of the 2 of them. Tricky might be in line to get caught by this boost. They can probably see their shadow or barrel. Monk,
Nice.
and they adjust so quickly, and that is super impressive out of Monk's POV. 20th frag, and now heads back to the B site. But the bomb still in motion.
They haven't made the decision yet, but that's Finish catching K-Day. That's been a head-to-head that we've talked about a lot, or not necessarily just that one, but K-Day in general. So a kill on both extremities, middle and A. It's really simple now for West Point. Group, hit a site. It's exactly what they're doing. Widowy has to have some sort of massive hold.
Does have potential to, but only one that comes out of it. Spray was really ugly and honestly avoided. It's just one put up from CT. A second here, and we could have maybe had a conversation starting. Jeebus right behind this smoke. Moses in an awkward spot himself. I can see him going down to the push here. Slippery slope here. One player, Vayne, he's out of this trade territory. You just need to come back to B main to help him out. But West Point, and a new spot for the very first time, are looking to take an Anubis.
Well, they were tasked with a massive task, which, you know, considering their lack of matches played on this map, could have felt unwinnable, impossible. Now one step away from it, one round away from it. New Mexico State University called their final tack pause. I guess credit to them, they have been putting those to good use, but they chugged through them, and the reactions, the changes, those aren't necessarily helping. 3 rifles, 1 MP9, shotgun, Nova.
Going aggressive in canals. I was a fan of this before in the Force Buy. Right now, I mean, at least now you said, we've made this push. Fortunately, not able to get anything on it. West Point haven't been too quick to make these calls, right? They're not such a seasoned Anubis team that they can immediately react to this, but I mean, keeping this round very close to their chest at the moment and not rushing into anything. Vayne might be the first player to really get into an altercation here.
He wanted to drop that nade, break the smoke, but it goes a little too deep, so he doesn't really get vision. Could have potentially seen Tricky Vic over there.
Well, now the Nova, when your map is on the line, is a terrible place to be. I don't think I have to spell that out.
Looks like the assembly might be back towards A. The bomb is rejoining.
Yeah.
Over in that direction for West Point. 40 seconds and ticking.
Potentially Monk can make a play, buy a lot of time, but considering 35 seconds in here, and he'll just have to commit to it, not pretend. Make sure that he is all the way into the fake. K-Day, 1 kill. Nitz came at them back from the A site one time ago, and Monk gone on his lurk. The rotates here, showing up with a shotgun. It's just not the right weapon for the job. Bomb will go down, and Tricky and JJA will rotate back in.
Mexico State, their rotates did get pulled. 1 flank coming. Tricky Vic on the way, being watched by Moses. The HP low.
Turns that corner, goes down. JJ up top, just seeing the head of Waho. So there is a free kill in, finished. Leg scene information on each player now. Knowing that he's got support from A main. A good advantage, considering Moses in the HP. He's taking the steps necessary to get the clutch. Going all 24 on this Anubis. I'm afraid of that fire myself. Fades away. We're going all the way to the end of regulation. Thanks to Widowy, JT, and JJA having a 4K.
Man, I mean, just mismanaged, unfortunately, there from West Point. They had it all. They had everything going for them. And they fall flat on their face. Not quite ready for the swing to come through from JJA. And there is nothing going right there. Missed the molly. Vayne not ready to swing. Not watching for the walk. And a brilliant clutch keeps New Mexico State Crimson alive for now. One more chance. 5 AKs involved here for West Point.
You may not have many chances like that to close out the game. I mean, it was right there for him. A 3 versus 1. Had to take that perfect route. And Mexico did it. Through the aggression in the mid-round. Let's be real, that was all coming through in the clutch. JJA.
Oh, a little pace change. West Point going to keep it fast. K-Day under threat again.
Gotta go out of this smoke. The 1-4 defense. And I mean, nobody disrespecting this. Think that comes down before K-Day can really access a fight. Pigeon gonna see his rotates die in front of him. One he'll be able to put up, but I mean, we're also focused on Fane in canals. Sees this utility come through, should have a telegraphed fight. But all this retake coming down, you have 2 players that have found themselves out of camera. Tricky has just found that access through the back door. This could be coming the way of New Mexico, but Monk might have just tied things up. What do we, JJA needs another 1 versus 3. I'm talking about back-to-back clutches here, and that is a hard prerogative. He has a Molotov to potentially get this player out of the corner, but Waho on an angle that he's not ready for. JJA back-to-back clutches he would need to capture, and he's 1 kill away, but Monk 1 tap through the smoke. Didn't even have to get eyes on. West Point on a map they've never played, beat their opponents 13-11.
Well, it was a first half that looked fantastic, 7-5, up to 10 after the pistol in the follow-up rounds, and it all starts to fall into place, but New Mexico State could not quite bring that back. A very impressive effort, though, that they put down, Mark. I gotta say, despite the fact they lost that, they still had the mental wherewithal to stick in it.
Yeah, I mean, they were probably so focused on getting this done because considering they've never played an overpass, like, they're really focused on putting this Anubis out in the series, at least like a leg to stand on if the second map doesn't go well. I think considering how ridiculous it was that their opponent's map that they have never played, they're probably like cooking in this veto and feeling so good about it. They've just been fooled. And that's got to feel bad, but you're running up 13-11. At least you hit that mark, but I don't know. I don't think it's as bad when you're heading onto an overpass where surely if you're, getting the shooting straight, I think onto a CT side, it could like spitball and be okay. But nonetheless, you're down 0-1 now in nationals by this much.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and it's difficult to kind of swallow that and be okay with it. But regardless, I think an opportunity for us to talk about some of the uncommon traits here. We'll start with the New Mexico State University side because these guys, listen, there was some upsides. We saw some very capable defaults early into that half. There was some positives there, and they've been untouchable, but this has got to be a relatively new feeling. I know that they were just second place. They didn't win in the grand final in playoffs, but they have otherwise not really been touched all season. I think the biggest problem that sort of became, sort of started to be resolved towards the end for me, for New Mexico State, is that they did have a lack of stars, right? Widowy JJA was that guy for them relatively often, and I got to give credit where it's due. That was good, and K-Day really stepped up. But for West Point, they had a star whenever they needed it in comparison. So I'm a little bit concerned by that lack of star power for New Mexico State personally.
Yeah, it's honestly a little bit lackluster at times. Like, I really feel like where you're coming up warm to it at the end of that first map, I probably have less concerns, but you really needed to bring that off the bat and especially, not roll up into, I feel like were multiple of those CT rounds were, put up on a end. I feel like you're getting Monk started so like quickly with the multi-kills over on the West Point end that you're kind of waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody to kind of just answer this mark. And JJA, like, he's popping off at the end, like 2 clutches that he's almost pulling together back to back. But like, I feel like where you're pulling up into a very quiet start of the game, like you're looking at this first half, and I mean, it's a like not even half the kills. Like, I really feel like most of this is coming back in the comeback and not here. Very concerning T side when they've ran 9 of these Anubises to go, and this is just unacceptable.
It's tough. It's a tough situation, no doubt. But I think, you know, a lot of that is to do with West Point. And I want to maybe transition to talking about some uncommon traits for this West Point side because, dude, they started that with some economic woes that I was really concerned about. The decision making really was problematic in my opinion. But they corrected that. The CT or the T side, none of that really reared its ugly head. And it was Monk that was capable of taking over, got some key kills on the CT side that got them right back into the game, that got them a lead, that got them a 7-5 half, and then other individuals were able to take over. Where that was Wahoo, where that was to Moses, who continuously had these big impact moments. That was huge for the West Point side. I am very impressed with what they put together, considering, you know, the start of that looked a little bit of some difficult ground to stand on. You know, by the end, I think that they really answered the call for those uncommon traits. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were popping up with those three like star-studded riflers in the I think performance that we just saw. It's going to be very, very hard, I think, to at all kind of speak about, you know, even where T Moses is sitting, like clearly flowing, like, you know, it's in the conversation that I kind of got from Monk that like it's sort of an IGL by committee. So like maybe you're kind of like having a bit of an answer to, you know, maybe some of the economical decisions early on. But I feel like really when, you know, a decision making process like that can hit a flow state like they had just with three players kind of playing out of their minds for the most part of them not having that history on Anubis, they kind of just focused on what they could and the fights in front of them, and they really dictated most of the duels. I think especially on their T side, where I was expecting them to kind of like fall on their face. And, you know, I'll be honest, they did obviously let that comeback come back to them. But the fact that they were running some of those slower defaults that were, you know, not overworking for maybe experience that they didn't have on the map, I think spoke a lot about how slow and steady that they were looking to take it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm in the same position as you. And I'm excited to kind of get this thing rocking and rolling. We're looking towards an overpass. Excited to see what that looks like. Quick reminder before we do hit to a break, though. The Forge trials are presented by the Army National Guard, as are our uncommon traits. Remember to answer the call over at nationguard.com and get over there. Also, we are heading to a quick break, but there is still lots of action here on the NECC. We'll be jumping in for Overpass Map 2. Whilst you're waiting, we've got Rocket League Division 8 happening over on the mainstream, so check that out. It's tied 2-2, a banger series. Absolutely fantastic, Will. So we will return after this break.
I seek to fight is a world that's mine. Need a place to hide. Will you free my mind? Follow the light of a world that's blind. In your eyes I see there's a place for me.
Back into the action on the NECC for Nationals, but it may have not been where you expected. I told a bit of a fib. I'll take responsibility for it, not onto an overpass, but onto an Inferno.
Yeah, I don't think this is on you, to be honest with you. Kind of seems like we're playing things out on Nico round right now, but we were meant to be on overpass, but I guess when we remade the lobby after our little tech hiccup at the beginning, maybe things got adjusted, and I really don't know why they're playing it out right now, but we're here just in case. We're trying to figure it out, but we're gonna catch it all live. Just if anything were to be crazy.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it was not your mistake, but here we are.
But it is a mistake. Is that what you're pointing out?
I think the mistake is on the player side.
Interesting.
That's my assumption currently.
Play ball, I guess. Headshot through this AK, and we're live, baby. Gotta close out this series in 2-0 fashion. West Point onto this T side are experiencing a little bit of trouble so far, but based on the way that they're playing, it kind of seems like New Mexico is trolled a bit, or maybe they didn't fully buy into it. They're just on these MP9s. I don't know, Vincent. I'm
no, I mean it looked
stunned.
like this is the like bonusy bonus of all bonuses. You following? Picking up what I'm putting down? They're having a lot of extra money. Wait, oh my gosh, this is the little guy, the bean, goes so well with this gun.
Absolutely fashionable. Matching in Nationals. Who's the most fashionable team? Got the best jerseys, Vincent. Question that's always being asked in Collegiate. One shot over the top. Not as easy at all. With these players at the B site, bullied back by the SMGs.
Holy cow. Yeah, that should have been I won't say easy approach, but yeah, I mean, they just had the numbers. 3-on-2, no dice, even though it wasn't a crossfire. Wahoo 1 HP. Don't think he's got much of a chance.
One swings at the CT, one click of the headshot, but yeah, protected from New Box. New Mexico up 3-0 so far.
Yeah, this is a nice change up for them, obviously. CT side start on Inferno. Pretty massive deal. You know, I'm starting to wonder if you have stats for New Mexico on Inferno?
I am diving in.
Or West Point, rather. Because I'm like doing the math here. New Mexico starting CT, West Point, East Side, etc., etc. I'm starting to feel as if we just got bad info at the start, and maybe part of the reason that they remade lobby was because the veto got like messed up.
Yeah, both of these teams do have a good look at Inferno. So, I don't know, that could have maybe lined up for a reason it paralleled for a map 3 so well. Either way.
Well, plus the fact that you know, Overpass is not a particularly played map for either team. It makes far more sense as a decider. I'm just, you know, I'm like thinking out loud here.
Living in mystery.
I have a question for you. There was a lot of high octane match going on Anubis, so I didn't get to ask any silly questions. What do you think JJA means? Because I told you in the green room.
JJ Abrams.
Okay, that would make sense.
J. Jonah something.
Because I said that makes me think J.J. Watt. Obviously a famed football player. But also it makes me think JJK, which is Jujutsu Kaisen. I know you don't know because you're not an anime enjoyer, but...
Not knowing ball, but certainly West Point dribbling in this round, huh? Avoid this retake. Put up a couple more Deeg shot. That's what you need. 8A and JJA gotta be retaking this. I mean, to keep on in this 4-0 lead. K-Day walking in, got to receive contact from multiple ends. K-Day has even seen Monk come over the top, finishing the job. Monk on for the ace. As JJA shows up to it right now, could be well within that conversation of confirming it. Monk throws a flash out, and it could be all 5 from Monk. I think the round is alive, but hopping through the air, and the Deagle will finally spear it at the end. The first round up on the board for West Point, up on the Pistols.
I love how I'm just yapping about names, and meanwhile, West Point, they're winning the round on Monk's Deagle out of nowhere. Just walks in Boiler, gets a kill, walks up through, finds another one. Yeah, so, again, W production moment.
I also have this veto in my notes.
Yeah, so my theory is now that something incorrect happened here. But to be honest with you, I don't understand how it's possible.
Maybe they just
Face
wanted
It
to play Inferno more.
But, like, they can't decide that. Well, that's definitely what happened. Yeah, that's, sorry. Hearing from production. We're gonna wait on that. There's an explanation needed. The genius moment from production. West Point, relatively low. Walking wounded, but a nice crossfire there. Pigeons will take theirs and lead.
One shot from Apartments. Tricky. Gonna have a big hold here. Almost online for a third, but quick trades out of that op and another accessible a site for West Point. They have an op to take this post plant away, but still an active arch smoke.
Is this gonna take a little bit of time to get back? Yeah, I say that. Finish just swings, blind, gets the kill. Well, I don't listen to me. I'm just stupid. Anyway, okay, so production made a great point. What apparently happened, according to the Face It page, it was saying throughout map 1 that New Mexico State had won a map already, was up 1-0 in the series. And likely, when West Point won on Anubis, it counted that as a win, thus it would be 1-1, and thus we'd be on Inferno, which is the decider. Which is almost certainly what happened. I didn't have the Face It page open, so I didn't know that. That makes total sense. Yeah, so we're playing as live. All of our confusion's still valid, but we're rocking and rolling.
If and when West Point do not win 2-0, I think we're about to have a... Honestly, if this goes either way, we're going to have a weird conversation. USPs, 5-7s, and may just get wackier. One op over the top, thankfully making motion happen with the Tech 9. But I got a feeling this bomb plant is going to be interrupted by Pigeon not actually reaching through CT smoke.
Crazy. Now Wahoo has the line. Low HP here for Fane.
Back's turned. One missed shot required by this off. It's so close, and it is not covered. West Point lose this B bomb site and couldn't be more embarrassed.
Yeah, I honestly kind of wish that Wahoo would just be a little bit more confident in his AWP. Actually, he might have been out of ammo, now that I think about it a little bit more. But regardless, goes for the tech, and it's not quite the move. Pigeons takes advantage. Pigeons eat pie. You know, I was just talking about in our uncommon traits, New Mexico State, a lack of individual moments, a lack of individual pop-offs, and But we're getting that. Tricky Vic having some of those. Pigeons eat pie. We just talked about Louis JJ has consistently been that guy. Everything's starting to come up crimson for New Mexico State University.
Mexico don't have a whole lot to do because brackets has never really even touched like that. Maybe one smoke to bring him a little bit of concern, but his default isn't so convincing. 3 players to the top of Banana. They might as well just take their next step up to B. Well, they still have a surprise. One entry, and you know it's going to come down to this. Cleaned out.
Massive double there from Finish. Honest and truthfully, this round should be over from there. I don't think that New Mexico State have any business going in for this. Even though the HP is somewhat low, are you kidding me? Jeebus, it is tracking the spam through the smoke that he locks down that kill. Now it's even 3-on-3, and this is certainly going to be on.
Monk has got to be so careful here towards backhaul, but a 3v3. Finish is actually the one that's at red health. It's a headshot that takes him away. Moses, 1 versus 1, and he backs up off of the angle. It's an op that's in next to take its turn with a kit on the back, and now he shouldn't care about it. 1 moment left on this bomb, and it will make a third up for West Point.
Oh, New Mexico State. It's so painful because they were close, because they were right there. But unfortunately, a loss still means that they are economically flat-footed. West Point maintain, grab back the scenes here, the control of this map. And it was looking like New Mexico State were certainly buying. Jeebus bought an op for a second, but he's since told that Pigeons can afford a hero gun and will be seeing an eco instead. Much better decision. One that means West Point likely to hit 4 to tie this score.
Speed is going to be finding Monk 0 to 100. Able to actually get 2 kills inside of brackets. All the way down middle. Spread all over the place. Still into alts. I mean, Jeebus goes down, only holding the shotgun, so that may be okay. But action towards the top of car as well in New Mexico are taking it to him on this eco.
Yeah, West Point really need to do a better job of tethering together on an anti-eco like this where, you know, there's somebody close by in order to play trade frags because at the moment, they're so individualized. That's how they get picked apart here, swing after swing. Remaining walk towards B. I think that reload just heard. The Galil towards the back side of the site is what they know.
To the left side. Another touch when you get up. K-Day onto Team Moses. 4 versus 1. There's Finish right around. Tempting his clutch, but I feel like the most has already been done with these pistols. Deciding whether to actually go and, approach back to A, check the flank. Still going to be audible when he walks into B. That's something that he won't be able to account for popping out of the smoke. And Tricky Vic ends another round here for New Mexico.
That's unconscionable. That can't happen for West Point. They cannot afford to lose rounds. That's the second of those that they have lost. Where New Mexico State have had a very limited array of weapons, and it has still been a successful victory. Yikes. For West Point. Now their money's in the bin. Monk has forced everything in. Oh, this ain't great for West Point. Remember economic woes. That was the uncommon trait that I had put up for them. This is back to that. I'd said they'd figured it out. 3 players on $0, 2 players saving. Very weird round for West Point.
There's one of those bought up sets of Kevlar and upgraded pistols down. Yeah, really awkward. I mean, if you're going to force, you got to force.
Hit A. Taking one out. Ooh, nice shot from Monk. At least put into good use the eagle that he had gotten. There's one more man at A. Jeebus has an op, and he's at range.
Jeebus waiting for this at a distance. Got all of this attention, and now being burned back. Can hardly flick. Oh my gosh, T. Moses takes him down. It's a 3 versus 2. And now K-Day into it. New Mexico been so efficient in these retakes, and why not another? Fane really hasn't had the moment yet, but back turn and will be stabbed. Right back to it. It's its 6th round up for New Mexico, and this is a great place to be.
Dude, really close, though, for West Point. Granted, you know, they get deep into that moment. Looks like they had found a way in via Monk again. His deagle has been devastatingly good. Can't see a world, though. They can get out of this. Ooh. Got another eco. That's what I was... Well, that's something. So I think what's happened is our match is on hold. Presumably, finally someone's taking issue with the whole we're playing Inferno and that's map 3 thing.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Because it was meant to be Overpass. Obviously, we were playing Inferno. But now we're 9 rounds into Inferno.
Yeah, and I think that may have some definite context to the game. You know, I feel like you can't ignore those rounds. I don't think you could save them for that 3rd map either. I feel like if we're going to go on playing this best of 3, we'll probably have to continue it on Inferno. But I am nor a referee.
No,
I don't know what the alternative was going to be throwing out there. I don't know. I'm not a rules expert, but
listen, I'm also not a rules expert, but I have done administrative work before, and here's my non-NECC rulebook take, because I don't have the NECC rulebook in front of me.
Sure.
Full disclosure. But and that is that very likely, if they had an issue with it, they needed to say that before rounds had taken place. Or, like, you know, actively at the beginning of the game. Which maybe they were. We don't have access to the chat. So, but that would make sense to me logically. That's what I will say as a non-rulebook enjoyer here at the NECC. So, we're gonna hit this thing over onto a break. Apparently, we're supposedly to be going back towards Inferno. That is unconfirmed as of yet. We're going to see what the admins are going to be doing and find out some answers. We'll let you know. It's going to be Inferno back, allegedly, after this break.
Well. I guess we do have some Inferno for you after all. We'll get into the politics after we finish out this A-Rap, of which Tricky Vic has 2 things to say about that.
Yeah, 2 quick kills, and his escape also made. He stays alive there, crucially. Wahoo grabs a molly, but doesn't do it correctly. Monk, that's a big cutoff, and K-Day doesn't have a guaranteed entryway.
Oh, big swing out. K-Day, very good deep spray. These are awkward fights, and they get even weirder. I feel like K-Day might just have to save after that frag goes down in the site, but 2 flashes to not attempt this, and first, you gotta doubt is one of these AWPs. Even going with the pistol, K-Day could actually get this spray transfer. I feel like the time would have been terrible there. Finally, I mean, we go over that timeout. We take a pause on stream. Let us not forget how long it's been since West Point actually pulled away in a post plant.
Yeah, it's been difficult. It's been very difficult stuff. So we found an answer. We have the conclusion. West Point, whatever the reason behind it was, they have agreed to play Inferno as if it was map 2. So
I think that's very kind of them.
This is map 2. If it's required, we will play Overpass as map 3.
Hey, if they, I mean,
which is
there's
a
always
wild
silver
W
lining
for
to
New
it.
Mexico State.
You know, they're gonna get that overpass, right? And if New Mexico extend this to a 3rd, then that's gonna be a terrible 3rd map for them, right? Where this Inferno is supposed to intersect in the series as the, you know, parallel to a 3rd pretty perfectly, you know, pulling up here. It is what it is. So we have updated vetoes for you. It's this Inferno. I don't know if we could put an asterisk on that, but just imagine one. No way! This shotgun getting active, it's dropped the bomb.
That's nasty. Great shots out of Monk, though. A double kill. That's going to keep this into an even set stead. 3 on 3. Still one here. Tricky Vic, a capable individual, and they won't check him.
Go. How deep is Fane going to get? How soon you get this kill? Because you do have other teammates in tow. And with this Deagle, to get 1, I'm afraid there just wasn't enough out of that corner. Bomb going to be picked up at this timing for Fane. It's not what he wished for! How about that? He had an inkling. He had something in the back of his head that just told him to check.
Man, so many of these rounds, I feel like, have been just the Monk show. There's Fane to close, but damn, is that impressive for West Point. And can I be honest? I feel like they're moving with a little bit more moxie now. Now that this is like officially real.
So
I'm speculating. Wild speculation.
I'm speculating.
Please.
The reason that West Point are willing to play this is because they're willing to prove it on any map right now. They could have gone for essentially a permaban situation if they got the slip into the veto. They say, we'll take it to you on Inferno. Finish with 1 shot over the top on that. They're trying to squeeze out every T round they can before a CT side, I'm assuming, will naturally fit them better. Tricky Vic getting active in apartments and does have a partner in crime. I think maybe on a couple of these spams, T-Moses may get curious. Really up there, seeing 1 player, but actually getting phased out. I'm not sure he's, you know, clicked 2 and 2 together. But that's an AK and an A4 spray now, and they might have just confirmed 2 players.
Yeah. Well, that's a big kill. Fane, doesn't know that there's still somebody in apartments, it would seem, but has made his great escape. 3 on 3. Bomb coming up mid currently, but it sounded like an evacuation there to New Mexico State. And that has caused Pigeons Eat Pie to rotate. This is understandable.
Explosive Pigeons back in the perfect moment for a spray down of 2. Fair enough onto Fane. 12 HP left to go and clutch this out. 1 versus 2. Crimson, you get a 7-5 half. They're 1 click away from it. This is MP9. Push plant. Fane gonna be able to get their gun out. Smoke out. Fane gonna be taken for a 7th round. New Mexico posts a 2-round lead. Vincent, this is good for New Mexico. That is probably what you were looking at. I mean, best case scenario for West Point pushing in here. I mean, they had a hard time taking away a lot of those post plants, considering the situations that could have been a lot better.
Yeah, I really feel the same. I think that there's a world where that's like 8-4 West Point. That's how many of those post plant positions West Point, I won't say fumbled because I don't think that's fair to them. I think New Mexico State deserve a lot of credit, but still could have been there for West Point, wasn't quite, and now New Mexico State have the advantage going on to their T side. Holy utility. What in the world? Not a single Kevlar to be seen for New Mexico State University. They have 5 HEs! What?
Oh my gosh. I mean, they've almost gotten the kill on the finish, but I'm afraid you got to be finding one frag off of that. Odd investment. But they clearly had maybe an idea as to a mid-push. Anti-stratted, not gonna work. A couple of these spams might be good for Fane. 5 up lane, and Finish gonna be deep in the bomb site here. One shot on the pigeons, a good Glock will clear, but they have not gotten anything out of apartments. Monk gonna be right around, and it is New Mexico into the second half that are disappointing. West Point are happy to show up to this.
Yeah, I think it might be overcooked on that one, to be honest. And I'm not talking about the hit video game either. Because New Mexico State, they buy the most utility I've actually ever seen in a pistol round.
That was really something.
They had like 3 smokes, 4 flashes, and 5 HEs.
Wow. I also like that line you slip in there. I'm gonna do that not as, well at all. I'm gonna like somehow bring up the story of the city of Detroit, and then be like, oh, just like the hit video game, Detroit Become Human, which I just started playing and is sick.
Wait, you started playing? Oh my gosh,
yes,
we have to talk about it.
It is dope.
Oh no, you can't drop this lore on me whilst on broadcast.
The very next day, it became 80% off.
I did see that it was low on money. I don't know why I phrased it that way, but all good. Yeah, that's what a sale is.
Sadly for New Mexico, I think they're gonna get thrashed in this round. I don't think anything like that will be hitting the price of the guns for this T side, but luckily they should be able to afford something. Store price.
Yeah. Newly lowered sticker price. I'm just finding new other ways to say sale. New Mexico State. It's obviously not great, the start to the second half, but hey, it's not that big a deal if they can recover fast. Jeebus, I don't know if the Nova on the T side is like the move. I just don't know.
He's committed to the bit.
It's true, and I respect that.
So Max 7 over here. All right, come on. Got to see some action with this. West Point got a couple of smokes, but
dang, that's full utility, by the way. No smoke spam, no nothing. Heyday saw no one and did nothing other than get naded and molly. They've got the arch side. They don't know about this.
Yeah, and you got this shotgun trying to spar up the finish here. Let me shut my trap because he's winning this fight by a mile.
God.
We're finished. He's very lucky to have this much help from Arches. This accountable duo on B.
Yoink.
Saving.
Thank you.
Clutchable considering the HP, but let's live in reality. 8th round here for West Point. They pull up into a 1-round lead.
So do you back me now? I was talking about the West Point playing with, just a little bit more pizzazz ever since that tech pause.
Yeah,
you
100%.
Agree?
I think this is an opportunity for them to put their foot down. I mean, it's a bit of a difference in terms of the public perception. We were talking about the college counter rankings before. They're like a difference of 30, around 90th are New Mexico, or excuse me, are West Point. So the opposite in this B rush to this duo right at the top of the wall. Like I was saying, New Mexico is up at the 53rd ranking, right? That's where you're staring at this specific quarterfinal down. And opening up this access, West Point is hungrier, arguably, we're walking into another playoff. One spray down. You do have a Bison, a MAC-10. Hell, it's finding kills. What am I talking about, man? Is Tricky gonna stick with it, though? Didn't think so.
Nah. Yeah, I don't really love this call from New Mexico State, to be personally honest with you.
Guns on this New Mexico team.
I mean, we're like doing this weird thing where we're buying 3 SMGs on 3 players and full buying, and then 2 other guys aren't full buying, so we're already splitting the economy. That's bad in and of itself. And then the call is a B rush through mollies and such. That I don't love either. There's just a lot of not great in this round, and it might work.
Push, though. The CT. Tricky getting one there. MAC-10 already on the flank is now alone. Understanding there's a player here in logs. I think that is the desired fight, especially the HP. Monk could go down and drop an access to a premium rifle. At this point, it's just going to be a race. Pigeons running with the rifle out, expecting potentially an early fight at Arches. That's a hell of a gamble to meet, and especially losing valuable time and securing a bomb plant right now. Just going to pass through that crack without getting caught. And now with the Molotov, going to be right on top. Going to turn out to swing aggressively. Pigeons turning into the 1v1 with cover. This 1v3 could go, and Waho showing up very consistently within this Anubis to shut down situations just like this one. He's going to approach pit quietly. Thought that they took away Graveyard. It happens to the best of us. Checks back in to Pigeon. The 1 versus 1 is definitely panicking now, but puts up the headshot. And West Point stay up close to this 9th round as they send another through. That is wild.
That might be the
Read
funniest,
the patch notes.
funniest way to win a 1v1. He's like, what? When did this happen, man? In his defense, it was like 2 months ago. It wasn't that long. That's crazy. Holy. And he still won the 1v1, which is the most important part of it. New Mexico State thought they had a way back in. And listen, I'm not defending it. But because they got the bomb down and they got SMG kills, this kind of works. They kind of can still buy, and it's kind of fine. I hate it. You know, I'm just telling you like it is.
Telling me that it's kind of working out is not good enough. 1 kill in an outer West Point, and the CT side looking sharper and sharper by the moment.
Kind of feels like they're playing with house money, doesn't it? Now that Overpass is the decider.
Really does. They're just gonna be playing so confident. This was a Inferno that was pretty good for them anyway. Looking concrete right now. This T side really needs to take the temperature of this thing. Judas here should get caught on the 7 HP. What did you really expect? Now this bomb, gotta meet up back top with Pigeon. Day. Still hanging around bottom middle. Fair amount of utility in their own right. Gonna have to join the party.
Kind of a way in here, technically. WP misses, but they didn't have a smoke. And that is free access for Timosis to for freebie.
26 seconds versus 4. Forcing on another shot. Still pedaling back this thing. Day will not quit on this round, but Monk was gonna try and line it up. That was one that slipped my vision on the mini-map. No wonder they were so safe for this thing.
Mark, I'm gonna keep talking about it, but New Mexico State, they keep having just enough money to reasonably keep buying. But it's really like it's you and me playing in a pug, right? It's actually more like matchmaking, where you keep forcing because we're at max loss and we keep getting bomb plants. And I'm like, what if we just saved one and bought for real? And you're like, nah.
Precisely. Of my MAC-10, of my Galil half armor.
Exactly.
Question I ask.
Or if you're our friend, why not? But my scout.
Ah, yes. I don't know.
I'm getting
It's hard for me to
PTSD.
justify that. It is what it is. This is a quarterfinal, completely a different setting. Nationals that you're staring down the barrel of. The top seed out of Group A, looking to fall out of things.
Top seed in Group C, just for the record.
And the highest ranked team in terms of the points through the fall and spring semester. Number 1 ranked going into the Nationals, top side of our bracket. Moses, understanding, is walking this way, takes a free fight. K-Day, it feels like this T side is running through K-Day at the moment. Good smoke into Moto. Got the support from lane. The Monkey's giving this the respect. Not peeking. Waiting for a point to pivot. Gonna try and give access to a healthy retake. And this is exactly what that looks like. Pigeon's in a 1 versus 3 and can't even begin to imagine. This thing is nearing the end.
I mean, if that round wasn't going to be good enough for New Mexico State, I don't know what is, because they're in a 3-on-4 advantage. They have the site, they have the bomb down. West Point, it's good pathing. Monks getting back in through the apartments, and I think that the timing there was really good. But still, New Mexico State, they can't coordinate any sort of re-swings, and now with the bomb plant, it's same scenario that I have been posting about for the last 5 rounds. Gotta get this done at some point. Feeling like this T side just doesn't have a lot of depth right now for New Mexico State.
That definitely is disappointing. All these kills, though, in a row. Backed up. And now it's back onto Monk. I mean, sneaking out of this smoke. Line held. This is going to be so close here for Pigeon. Trying to track him back through the smoke. Somehow Monk still hasn't gotten caught. And coming up into apartments like that, going to be punished. All of a sudden, this has turned into a terrible situation for New Mexico. West Point could very realistically get on 12 rounds in the next 30 seconds. A 1 versus 3 for K-Day. Player you needed to depend on, almost lines him up, but trying to walk over the top, has enough to worry about. Another clutch up in the cannon, and you have caught it. K-Day, a 1 versus 3, keeping New Mexico alive.
I mean, I didn't think it was gonna happen. Monk had done so much work. That is a massive clutch from K-Day, who came up later to the party over on map number 1, nearly brought New Mexico State back into contention after going down big at the start of the second half. It was K-Day that nearly delivered them. It is K-Day that delivers the triple and the clutch and everything that New Mexico State needed. At this point, plenty of money for this repurchase, but that is one big step forward. The Crimson side.
Huge moment to keep this Inferno pumping. Spoke about it coming through them. We didn't mean literally like that, but it's a great time. But repeatable, different question. I can only hammer this A site again, and through the A4, you are going to be punished. This op is going to come to the next level and just be devastated by Pigeon's Deagle.
Moses, much he could have done there.
Finish gone. Side working it right now. Monk has saved most of these A site situations here. In his arms for another 54 seconds. And Pigeon is going to walk his way. AK right around this corner. Who will come up with it? The A1S spray. A reliable Monk to pull this thing to 12. Quarter-final point for West Point.
27 kills deep for Monk. I mean, the takeover on this CT side has been insane for him. Absolutely legendary. And it was as if a switch was flipped once West Point realized what they had going for them, what Inferno being map 2 started playing far better than they were previously. Oh, we're going fast again. The nades are devastating for New Mexico. Get smacked down right at the entry.
A little bit of noise outside of apartments. West Point just want to place the setting straight up. Flash around the corner. And a tricky Vic will go down. Take it. One fight taken, but if Monk is gone, I'm not sure if this A site can hold together. Gotta look to finish. Around this corner, I mean, he's gonna be going down momentarily. Moses, 2 kills, 3 players around this corner. Bane comes up with it. Moses on 6 HP is already saving.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to go back in there. A little bit of an overstep there from West Point. They get a little proactive, try to push back through apartments, and that is when Monk gets punished. There's Finished, who isn't super confident to swing for one reason or another from the cold box. Mexico State light up the feed, and they get themselves 9th round. It's not like they're that far away from winning this, or rather from pushing to overtime. Just a couple of rounds.
Terrorists win.
I don't think there is a whole lot left in the tank here for West Point, or at least not for Monk individually. I feel like, you know, he's put him in this spot. Now it's about the rest of the squad just taking him over the edge.
We do have a little bit of news coming in. At least every other semifinal set, even their opponents, moving on to the potential victor of this specific best of 3, go on to play California State Chico.
That's Chicago.
I searched otherwise, but
You're lying. That is not the California State. Chico State, apparently. I've been told by our producer.
gotcha. May have wrong information.
Oh,
yes,
no.
in Chico,
Wait.
California. Yes, okay. Overruled by the play-by-play commentator.
You had it.
W.
bad.
Mark. There we go. Back into the business.
My
With this
producer lied
A site
to me.
to it, Vincent. Opponent set, semifinal set. You just need one more. For West Point, one more to submit their ticket for these A hits. They're coming hard. I really didn't expect this from New Mexico out at the end. One shot for it. Khalil sprang. JJ hiding in this corner. I think should just sunk it.
Yeah,
Say
they
site
have.
weak.
They're struggling to find the answer. Honest and truthfully, West Point getting picked apart. Ooh, some hops though from Woohoo. I just called him Woohoo. Shout out. Do you know who that is? That's a real knower.
I do know Woohoo.
Okay. Advanced season 42 grand finalist and winner.
There you
I'm-
go.
I don't know if it's season 42. I'm making a guess, but
What team?
that was with Vulcan.
Oh.
Magic School Bus, I think was the team.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
it was. It might have been. Yeah.
Recently, I was. I got a question for you.
Dude, that's a deep pull, by the way. If anybody knows, please say in chat. It's a deep
I
pull.
was reminiscing on that Gonzo X13. That was the very first advanced finals that I casted. Me and Danny Fanta. Oh, what a time.
The Phantom.
Dude, what happened to Penguin? That guy was so goated that it felt like he just disappeared one day.
True. He did. Kind of wild, to be honest.
Yeah, I
with
don't
you.
know. I don't know.
Is he? He might have been old though.
Nah, he was a young gun.
Was he? Okay.
Yes. Who knows?
All right. We should stop
Maybe
reminiscing.
he'll have a Zodic-like comeback. You're right.
For like 6 months and then leave again.
This is crazy. This is crazy, no?
Because apparently
like
we're...
All 5 following up with the Deagles, Vincent. Actually getting one on the nades this time. This is going to be tough, but this op needs to clock back in. They've all ran past it.
Yeah, I don't hate the nade stack mid angle. Wahoo trying to pull it back. I've been updated. It was season 42, not 46, but I'm gonna take that as a win and say I was mostly right.
You were close. I actually, there's been, dude, we haven't casted in like 10 days. You know, NACS has exploded, and one of the saddest parts about this, although SML did just win Dust to Eagle Masters, I'm pretty sure, is that team kind of, I think, more or less sadly just disintegrating. It's just sad for SML. I don't know what his next big opportunity is going to be. I hope somebody calls
of course.
that number soon.
Hold on. Gotta mention famed player for Ashland Eagles.
Yes, of course, obviously.
Yeah. I needed to point out the relevance.
Yes. I say obviously as if everybody knows who SML is. Maybe flying under the radar of a lot of people right now, but, you know,
hold on a moment.
Knowers know, and those that are, you know, I mean, been the only team to really give, like, Fisher the business in the last couple seasons, Ashland, winning everything else.
This is a big round, though. West Point, obviously, had 4 opportunities. They're on their final chance. New Mexico State with a perfect buy. Everything that they could want. Play it passive to start out this round. Could push to overtime. Their Nationals fight is on the line. 1 round standing between them and a chance to succeed. What a nasty shot from Jeeves.
Oh my gosh, this A site is coming apart. Monk alive here, sneaking in apartments, but the problem is it's actually a fake. How crazy is this? Fantastical. Dude. What type of work is being done here by one man? Of course, it would pull this AWP back towards A. Just go ahead and win the whole round, Jeebus.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Might be ready to take this fight against Moses. A 4th frag. Practically winning this on his own. We're headed to OT. We're in this Inferno. Something crazy has come out of the soft burn to the bit. We'll get one, but they're hiding for him. Give him a little bit of respect. So let's get the bomb, and there's just no way that he gets here. New Mexico come back. They keep this thing together, and it's a 5-round back against the wall feeling moment that they had to hold on to, Vincent. Considering the circumstances in this series, I thought they were ready to tap. Sincerely.
I did too. I thought they were dead. Dead on arrival, actually. You know, we talked about the change in momentum for West Point. Never really got interrupted after that tech. It was 6-3, I think, was the score line that I'm talking about when that happened. So, you know, for them to make a last-minute charge just like that to get into overtime, it is a incredible feat. But it's not over yet. We need more. And Jeebus, what a heat up. 3 kills last round. Actually, he had 4. Big start, but he won't get to continue.
Finish sprinting away. There's no attempt on the trade to chase him down. Here's the Sop peeking through. Yahoo has had some trouble on this op, but not in this round when he's staring down fish in a barrel, strangling 2.
Statement. Wahoo. This AWP, it's not been ineffective or anything, but the CT side, it's not been necessary. But now with no problems in the economy, they could get back in. Tricky Vic, though. It's a tricky time. Wahoo gonna need 4 total to win this round. The bomb, it's taken its sweet time for Pigeons Eat Pie to get onto A site.
Still knife out. Fortunately. Ooh. May actually get an audible cue to this. I think may not work out. Players kind of awkwardly shifting about the site. Just can't give him an easy play with these AKs stashed into the corners. I'm afraid if an easy gunfight doesn't come his way soon, he will just ditch this. Yahoo naded into the corner. It's just gotten onto the A4 as well. How many nades do they have? Just going insane as New Mexico take the lead. Tricky Vic with the 4K. Atop of Jeebus' entries. So many things have changed in the last 6 rounds.
Woo! Yes, they have. A lead for New Mexico State. Didn't think that I would be seeing or saying that. Feels weird off the tongue after so many devastating losses. The CT have been so good, but it's been about limiting Monk. You know, I said at this point he had done so much, it might be up to the rest to find a way to close. I think I was right. Unfortunately, West Point, they haven't found that individual to step up for them.
Yahoo on that corner again. Jumping back to the site after one frag is what he needs to do. They put in a lot of trust in this one player to keep the B site together. Right now, perfect appearance for T Moses to get this one touch into CT.
And they've kind of got him wrapped up here on A, considering Jeebus is all alone. Very frustrating, though. Finished isn't really taking any information. Oh, I don't love how that's being played. Jeebus gets by, but Wahoo's still so threatening on B.
I don't know if they actually found out about Jeebus, being that it was Tricky that actually got the kill during that entire altercation, executing T Moses. And now Jeebus gonna be right here endearing. Little do they know, they have a flank that is just as rich. Jeebus stunned in the back lines, 13 all.
There you go, West Point get back into this overtime period, and it's via Monk, as we've been talking about, who finally breaks on through. Big missing moments there for West Point, despite winning. To Moses, not ready because he maybe thought Finish was watching, didn't anticipate a second guy. That's definitely what it was. Tricky Vic was the one who got the kill at Arch, and so when they killed him, they're like, okay, well, we've got it all. Not the op that was looking down mid. Nate goes flying to return fire. They pump the brakes. No continuation. Over there in middle.
So West Point finding this opening kill onto Tricky. And active probably a little bit too early in terms of what positioning they still have. Reach for inside of brackets. How they do that without the help of Pauls.
Been the problem on these A hits constantly.
Got to peek up effective from the first look. They almost line up. Monk up top. There's levels to this thing, and they shut it down. 14. And that will be a very good place to push at least 2 rounds into that first half of overtime for West Point.
Monk had to take a little break there at the back end of regulation. He has reawoken. 3 more kills, and it is back to the impressive A-holds that we had been talking about consistently. West Point getting themselves 5 rounds on the T side in the regulation. But the second half of their T side far better than the first, and now with the depth that they showed, I'm a little bit concerned. New Mexico State still playing for their lives, with West Point having the map advantage in this best of 3.
Monk getting access to the top of Banana. New Mexico really give up a lot of space, but I mean, who they're actually sitting with this B site. At least JJA has a full belt of utility. In essence, getting ready to dump it. Is that smoke on the corner? That's what type of time they buy.
Pretty out of utility, though. They've got another molly and another flash, but that's it for the B bomb site. And that's some smokes that are going to be flying in. This is a dedicated B fake now.
K-Day comes up with only one. B fake is working because it's keeping both of these players just stuck.
Oh, and they've got the
30
cutoff.
seconds.
Walk through the
You're
smoke.
absolutely right. He's going to be able to fit through CT. They don't find this player. Going to take a couple minutes for him to get here. Swinging, finishing the job, holding off rotates.
What?
But nobody expected Pigeon to still be alive. Finish is going to get here. Got to get this 1v1. It's a headshot that he has to grab over the top of the box. And enough time to sneak this bomb plane up. JJA likely thought this round was over. He's going to have to click into a 1 versus 2. And the most important of the entire series so far is resting on his shoulders.
2 headshots, all he needs. He's got only a couple of flashes against them. Placed in the right spot.
That's insane. The commitment, the play, the creation of an opportunity. Monk here is money. Been 34-19 through this Inferno map, and he cashes away another 15 rounds that West Point put up on the board first, and they depended on their A superstar this entire time. Monk was the guy that was keeping things together inside of the anchor spots, but now in the clutch, he's the man to depend on.
Oh, very impressive indeed for West Point. 2 chances. 4 of these in regulation. Wasn't enough. But will it be more? Will it be required? That's the question that I have now. Oh, nasty nade. Point, eat it. Finish takes it on the chin, but they get banana control basically for free. It's just that 30 damage, and they have it. You take utility flying in, but there's no follow-up on this, so New Mexico State, they're throwing in good utility after bad.
We're going to buy a little bit of time, just nothing of this is convincing. And where New Mexico creates such a good A setup, probably wish this was going to walk back to them. Wahoo's trying to find this kill up on the corner. May actually get their wish. Flash on the top. This is just going to be a bad spot. West Point likely shouldn't attempt the trade here. Should just connect with the B hit, but staying close to it is T-Moses, and he's going to go down. Time to rotate.
I mean, they've already made a commitment. That's such a good idea for that double nade. Both of them go wide.
K-Day can go to the second level. Nade didn't take him. Nothing hit close, but isn't ready for that second swing. 26 seconds. They're going to plant the bomb. It's a 2 versus 3. Can West Point take it to the semifinals here?
Very late rotate for Jeebus. He's actually going to go back through banana deep. What a place for one to be.
The second player is the one that holds the HP. The importance in this fight between the two. Now Pigeons may not be expecting the aggressive play. That's exactly what comes down the barrel. Fein for the 1v1. Cannot pull it away. Jeebus hops back on the bomb, and we go to 30 rounds on Inferno.
Man, Fein honestly just needs to play passive there. Obviously, you and I can see that Jeebus had full kit of utility, specifically a molly and a nade that would have made life difficult for Fein, but the time wasn't all that great. Didn't have a lot of it. West Point, one more chance. New Mexico State. They need double overtime. They require it. When it comes down to the wire, New Mexico State, they have been good under pressure. They have been making comebacks throughout this best of 3. Nubis regulation. Inferno regulation. Now in overtime, they do the same.
trades that come back and forth so quickly between brackets. Really, this is only going to be hurting Mexico. Keeping a man up top, Finish is just holding together B and wasting utility. One touch at a time. A couple of flashes thrown by New Mexico, holding together this B site. Monk will lead them back into his wheelhouse to send this game away.
Say that. Commitment not happening yet. Finished. Keeping 2 players over on the A bomb site. Pressure mounting on A. New Mexico. Still so split. There's no help at all for Tricky Vic.
Contact up towards Moto, but they've blocked out Pigeons. Prerogatives now onto Tricky Vic. Gotta get a multi-kill. Doing good for the first, but flattened to the 3v3. 16 seconds. And can Finish crack it? He cannot. That was a risk. And they measured it. It just failed. Pain here is low. Monk in the same vein. They're riding on the same trail. But right now, this is Fane taking a very risky position, and it will be destroyed. Monk here, 1 versus 3 is necessary to take it in overtime 1, but he is expecting another from Moto, so he will not make his moment. Overtime 2 is where we are going.
Oh, West Point really struggling. They needed to be more ambitious there when they take the site proper. You know, they had locked out Moto. There is maximum 2 players there. Just go. Just fight. But they don't. They won't. They're punished for it. Big kill for Tricky Vic. And an even bigger one for K-Day to close that round. 2 overtimes. 2 maps. West Point not done yet after 6 chances to seal this thing up.
Now a clean slate. This thing practically 0-0. But they want to put up the first point with the B rush. It's a nade that's going to answer him over the top. K-Day has had a lot of great responses for this. Not able to stop anything. Not able to be washed out. So keeping at least a foot alive in backhaul. So low are West Point in this
So
post.
much utility flying into backhaul, and K-Day wants to commit through it, but for why? Nade doesn't even go deep enough. But the spray will do.
Through this smoke, straight up will be put down. Pigeons also in the next line will be disappointed. It's a 1 versus 2 right here, but Jeepus has gotten so deep that the first problem is going to have to be put up by Monk. This man is 41 and 21 at the moment and cannot be denied.
Where's that ambitious and quick calling, fast decision making there for West Point when they're getting into these late round scenarios? What's that? Or rather, when they're in, you know, map point, when they have the series on the line. That's something that we aren't seeing. As soon as it's back to the start of things, as soon as there is less pressure on them, they're going flying, they're going fast, playing loose. West Point starting to feel like they're consistently getting banana without much of a problem, without much of a fault. Tricky Vic, the worst into that spray, eats nade on the tree. Inside defense a little limited.
So much access to apartments, yet so little control. Monk wiped away. Big name off the slate. Back to the B site when doubted.
Oh, that smoke might just accelerate them. I think they should accelerate them. They can pop through this. They have all the utility. Here we go.
Refreshing it into the CT smoke. The only flash they're really going to have access to. More nades coming through. And flash over the top. JJ swinging out, second serving, he will be disappointed by. Nade in hand, still not going to be wiping away K-Day's impact. This is really good out from New Mexico. K-Day cannot be stopped. This is all washed away by New Mexico, just pressing their foot on the gas.
Yeah, West Point struggling to find the solutions there. It's a good T-side round followed by a loss, and it's New Mexico State's supportive flashbangs that really do the biggest heavy lifting. Great swings and delay there by K-Day. Ebis gets the backstab to complete the victory. Final round of the first half of second overtime. Here we go. Double nade, arch side. Oh, but Jeevis actually going to catch a second nade. Third overall heading in that direction. And once again, West Point getting banana so freely. Restarted B here. They're going to hear K-Day sprinting into CT. Might think that that means somebody's left B. That's not the case.
Hey, they're going to be the one leaving this setup on the B site. They're boosting up. Thick into this situation. The A site closed. Still with vision. Held by Jeevis. Got to know. It's dry over here. Quiet. Flash right in. It's going to be a slow and steady B hit. They just got to check the boost, and they're going to wait. Tricky. Unfortunately, their teammate goes down. Can they make up for it? The magic for 2 kills does not come through. They also might interrupt. Walking out of this smoke will get washed. This bomb is down. Still dictating the fights on the time. 9 seconds dialed. West Point barely getting this bomb down, or hardly pulling together this post plant. Monk to the 1v1 is going to go towards CT. Jeebus here has got to take this. It would be a 17th and a lead for New Mexico into overtime 2. Monk trying to ride this wave. 43 frags. But this one, the next most important, will be one tap on the bomb. Will he take the bait? An HE in the pockets of Monk, but the large swing, and he only needed 1 bullet to hit. Hammered it.
Well, same thing as the first half for the first overtime. 2 rounds for West Point, 1 for New Mexico State, but West Point move to the preferable side, the CT angle. Oh, so deep, oh, so tight this game has become. I can't lie, Mark. It feels like at some point West Point are going to be there. Some point West Point are getting through.
Big nade hits Jeebus for 50. They're just leaving alone up at the site. Yahoo is establishing that control for a lot at the beginning of overtime, at least. Walking up, finding a kill is Tricky Vic. At the same time, the site is going to need some help, but Finish pops into brackets and gets 1 kill.
Surely not. Not from this position if you're New Mexico State. Over towards B, sure, Wahoo seemingly alone, but his AWP has been stalwart. There has not been a moment to miss, and he has right on the money. Likely to see themselves in and through this round and another opportunity or 2.
One shot through the side of that box, and Kata even getting legged, down to 19 HP. 30 seconds. They're going to cover up Yahoo. Still in that second. One check over the top. 4 versus 2. At least. Feel the process here to grab 18. Pigeons, only player that could take this away. No Molotov to force him out of new box. And running it down will be found. That's West Point to get their hands on 18 rounds.
Nicely done. Okay.
About time. Was worried there for a second. This should be exactly what they need to face down a semifinal.
They've had, prior to this, 4 rounds in regulation, 2 rounds in the first overtime, so 6 total opportunities. 6 total chances. Presented with 2 more right now. Everything is there for them. Can they take it right now? Pulled by the horns. Monk with 44 kills. Nades are massive. 2 nades down Banana, and it's big damage.
One frag inbound, and Fane with a second before he fades away. Monk's got to get back to it, and it is that fast. West Point, in their very first season as a program, they may have disappointed in their first playoffs, but in their first nationals, they're headed to a semifinal.
That they are, defeating New Mexico State, who they themselves made it into the grand finals in playoffs, second place finishers, but out 5th to 8th. Here in nationals, it was everything that West Point could have wanted. A big comeback required for them on map number 1. New Mexico State nearly brought it back, but they fended them off, and the same true on Inferno. Love to see that. An impressive performance from Monk overall individually, and to be honest, Wahoo as well really leveled it up there at the end. But dude, I am so impressed with what Monk was able to do as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, that was an insane performance by Monk. I mean, without that output, I think we have a different series in totality. That's not a hot take, all right? Monk really just put a lot of that series on his back for some time, but there was a lot of chaos in this thing, and there just had to be a couple of individuals making the difference. It wasn't just Monk, right? I mean, there were a lot of moments where I feel like if not for the likely stunts of what you had over on this B site held together on that op, this thing is really committed to clearly having the 1 AWP when they can get it over there to anchor the B site. Wahoo on that op was really impressive, right? And I know you just said that, but like echoing that sentiment is just as important, where it's really hard to praise the other 3 riflers, where it was hard for them to even get their hands on kills during that Inferno.
Yeah, it was tough. It was difficult. I gotta say though, West Point, I'm impressed with the way that they rolled with the punches, right? Technical issues, and obviously meant to be playing overpass there. They roll on with that, and they say, okay, we'll do it on Inferno. It's 13-11 on map number 1, and then for them to continue to move forward on Inferno, had a commanding lead, weren't able to close with that double overtime. It's the resiliency that they show that I'm just very impressed with. Big W for them. They will be up against the CSU Chico squad in the semifinals. Very impressive, as we will see West Point once again here in Division 3 Nationals. Which brings us, unfortunately, to the end of our broadcast here. It's not the end of things, of course, though, with the NECC. We've got Aurora Series happening a day early this week, and they just started up on the mainstream. Rocket League just finishing up. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks with Counter-Strike, but next week it's Rainbow Six here on Wednesday, the normal time slot. So 2 weeks for Counter-Strike Nationals Finals. That will be very exciting. And tomorrow, League of Legends, the quarterfinals kicks off there, and Friday we'll have Overwatch. So make sure that you're checking it out. We've got so much to offer you here at the NECC. We thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace out and have a good night.
You'll still have common days. Forget someone's name mid-conversation. Count your tips at the end of your shift. Buy something disappointing off the internet. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.